Hi, all, and welcome to Monday night's All Meta Mode podcast with Gypsy Jules with Zero Discrimination and myself, Amanda Digger DeGaz. And we also have special guest Bobby Pastor. Before we get started with tonight's episode, just gonna say, hey, Gypsy, how are ya?
Hi, I'm doing great. I'm doing great. How about
Awesome.
you?
Doing all right, doing all right. Would be better if I realized my mic was on mute. That's awesome.
Yes, yeah, somebody was saying in chat already that they couldn't hear anything, but then now they can. So hopefully you all can hear us. But I'm actually in chat tonight. So finally, it's been a long time.
That's awesome. Welcome back to chat.
Thank you. Finally got a computer that works here, so hopefully this will be good. But
Good.
hey, so I hear the weather's been a little crazy up there, but were you able to get out any this week?
I got out a little bit on Saturday. I went mudlarking, and it was like a really, really low tide, but of course it was after dark. That was the true low tide. But I did get out, find a few things, and then Sunday I went detecting for a little bit. Ended up with, I think, 5 or 6 buttons, which was, that was cool. And yeah, that's about it.
Awesome.
How about yourself?
Well, I got to get out this weekend too, and instead of metal detecting, no, I went and got to go dump digging because I have no car, no car right now. My friend Zola, she was ready to go dump digging and replenish her bottles, and I said I got just the place, but it requires quite the drive. So she said, "Hey, I'll drive you since you have no wheels right now." And anyway, hopefully I'll have my car back by the end of the week, I hope. Anyway, fingers crossed. But anyway, we went dump digging and we found some pretty incredible stuff. I think about 200 bottles. I'm not sure exactly, but close to 200 bottles. Yeah. And let's see. I didn't get any coins. I got a ring. I got some clay marbles and some
Awesome.
other things that are really cool, but everybody's going to have to wait till the video comes. So hopefully I'll have a video out tomorrow. Hopefully I can get to it. But I did announce the winner of the new Garrett bag today, and the winner's already messaged me. So the Digger's Den will be putting that prize out to him. But I've got another giveaway for another Garrett bag, so y'all be sure and check that out on my YouTube channel and come comment so you can be entered into the drawing. So that's
Awesome.
about it for me.
Very cool.
What about you?
Yep. No.
Nothing else to talk about that you found amazing or anything like that?
No, not really. I mean, nothing too out of this world. I mean, the usuals: lots of buttons, couple marbles, buttons, and more buttons.
Well, we love buttons. So.
True, very true. And I mean, our fields. I mean, besides today, which was like a heat wave with the 61 degrees, we're going back down to freezing and snow on Wednesday. So I know our fields already had like a good 2-inch thick frost on it, so or permafreeze. So depending
That's
on how
crazy.
depending on how this next week goes, I'll end up in the woods here soon. But
Well, you always have to take a little time off soon, and when it gets too cold there, come to Texas and we'll go dig.
That's
So
true.
we'll find someplace to dig. So.
Very true.
But I hear we've got a new guest tonight. and I'll let you introduce, but it was my first time getting to meet him at Jigsaw this year, and it was a pleasure. So go ahead and, if you don't mind, introduce our guest
All right.
tonight.
Everyone give a warm welcome to Bobby Pastor of East Coast Metal Detecting. Hey, Bobby, how are you?
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Hey, glad to have you on the show.
Glad to be here.
Awesome.
By the way, Gypsy, I have that new Garrett bag, and I love it.
Oh, awesome. Oh, yeah, and you bought it for me, didn't you? I forgot.
I did. Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
That.
Oh man, I tell you, it's hard. It's hard to find a good bag. You know, it's got to keep all your stuff in it, and stays, right where it is. Doesn't hang down. It's perfect. Adjustable, perfect fit. Love it.
It's awesome.
It's my favorite bag I've used so far, and I think Amanda's got one on the way too, don't you?
I have more than one on the way. I'm a snob.
That's
yeah.
what I heard. That's what I heard from Brian today. He goes, "Man, Amanda just." He's like, "Gosh, she'll be ordering like three bags."
Well, you know how some people
Anyway.
have different machines to go out detecting with? I also have different pouches. So I can just leave it full and grab a new one.
I'm the exact same way.
It's bad. I know.
Exact same way.
Yep.
It's not bad. I'm the same way. Well, so I'll let you go ahead. Go ahead and ask her. I know you've got a list of questions for our guest tonight.
I do. So Bobby, how did you get into metal detecting, and like how long have you been doing it?
Off and on for about 5 years. I started in about 2016. I stopped for a while. Actually, I stopped for quite a while, and I picked it back up. Actually, when COVID hit, nothing was open. I was still working. I worked through COVID, but obviously couldn't do much. Couldn't go anywhere. So I said, you know what? Let me pick it back up again. And in the middle of a field somewhere by yourself is about as good as social distancing as you can get. So
absolutely.
I just picked it back up again, and I decided to do something different the second time around. I decided to the first time around, I got involved in a few groups and didn't really like too much how it was and how it was going. So I decided I was just going to do it and just kind of get out and not really make much of it and just enjoy it. And I just started to enjoy it more, I guess, and started hunting with a couple people and got. I didn't get addicted the first time. The second time, I got addicted, and it's just when you first start out and you don't have anybody around you that does it, and a couple of the groups I was in, weren't real welcoming, like for newcomers, so it wasn't a lot of help. So I was kind of like a fish out of water, and I just was like, man, maybe this isn't for me. And then over time, I guess I just had met a couple people and got out, and that was it. I started finding a few things, and I guess when you find that first real, have that first real aha moment when you're like, oh wow, and that was it. I became addicted, and I've been back in it full blast now for about 2 years.
It's awesome. That's awesome. I'm glad you didn't let those groups ruin it for you.
No, so I decided that I didn't like how they went, so I made my own group.
There you go. Trendsetter. That's great. Well, Bobby, and you said the right word. It does become an addiction, a passion for most of us. and once you get bitten by that bug, there's no way to cure it unless you're out there digging and detecting. And
Exactly.
it just grows and blossoms from there. So, so happy for you and glad you're out there. But let me ask you this. So what detector did you kind of get started with, and what detectors maybe have you used over the last several years, and what detector are you using now?
The very first one I bought was pretty entry level. It was a Bounty Hunter Discovery 1100. And
okay.
I started with that one. Again, didn't really know too much, but I figured it was, a good place to start. And I'm kind of fortunate. I live 10 minutes from the beach, about 10 or 15 minutes from the bay. So I just got on the beach with it, used it for a good portion of the summer when I bought it. And it was okay. I mean, like when you don't know any better, you think it's the greatest thing in the world. And, I enjoyed it. And I actually met a guy, an older guy who's been doing it for about 40 years one day. And he said, you need to get a Garrett. I know Gypsy's going to love that. And he's like, you should get like the Garrett Ace, like 250 or something. He says, you'll get, you'll find more things with it, and he's showing me all his rings that he's found on his phone. So I did a little research, and it was right around the time the Garrett Ace 400 was coming out, or had just come out. And so I went and I bought a Garrett Ace 400 and loved it. Absolutely loved it. It was phenomenal. I don't use it now, but I have to tell you, it may be the best pinpointer on a machine that I've ever used.
Wow. That's cool.
The only problem I had with it was when I got down towards wet sand. I would have to turn the sensitivity down. But on dry land, it was phenomenal. The pinpointer was phenomenal. And I used that for about a year and a half. And then all of a sudden I kept everybody, I kept seeing people find all these things. And I'm like, I kept seeing the word Knox. I was like, what the hell is a Knox? So, I'm just, kind of checking everything out and did a little research on it. And it seemed to be a machine a lot of people were gravitating to. And when COVID hit, I said, you know what? I'm going to spoil myself a little. I went out and bought a Equinox 600 and got off the beaches and started hitting the bays because I was just finding clad, an occasional ring or something. And I don't know, some people may feel the same way. They don't, maybe they don't. I didn't mind hunting the beaches, but just hitting clad and an occasional piece of jewelry, it was just something missing. You know what I mean? There was something missing. Like I was missing something. So I started hitting the bays where I was starting to hit silver coins, Mercs, Barbers, stuff like that. And I was like, yeah, this is older. I like this. Yeah, I said, I think this is good. And last December, probably right before Christmas, I had a friend of mine who actually now helps me run my group, Eric from Brotherhood Metal Detecting. He's like, dude, you be killing the silver. I say, I do all right. He's like, but the farm fields are where it's at. I was like, really? He goes, I'm telling you, man. So I said, all right. So I did some research, found a place not too far from my house, about a half an hour from my house, and got out and probably was out about 15 minutes, got into this little farm field. It was actually on county property, so I was able to dig it. legally. And I think my second or third hole, I hit a big old coin, and I knew it was old. I just didn't know what the heck it was. So I messaged him real quick with a picture, and he's like, "Dude, it's KG2." I'm like, "Great. What's that?" He's like 1730 to 1760. I'm like, and that was it. I was done. Never went back to the beach. Never went back to the bay.
Wow.
Now I swing. I have the 600 still. That's my backup, and now I have an 800 as well to go with it. But now you can't get me off the form field. You just can't. There's just too much there. I mean, you're kind of limited with the beach a little bit, unless you're like on the Treasure Coast in Florida. The bays, you can find some pretty decent stuff, but again, I felt something was missing. You know what I mean? And I just found in the farm fields, I could find anything. I found rings, I found copper, silver, but for me, and I know Amanda can attest to this because her and I were talking not too long ago about it. I don't know. There's just something about buttons and relics. Just something about it.
It's so true. And it paints a picture for the past. And, it is a lot about location, depending on what you're really seeking. I mean, you can go kind of modern beach and find modern coins and modern jewelry, or you can go research like you did and like I know Amanda does at these old farm fields, which we don't hardly have any in Texas and the area I live, but that research can pay off, and I'm sure you've got some amazing stories to tell and share with some of your favorite finds and stuff. But I'm going to hand it off to Amanda. I know she's got another list of some more great questions.
All right.
So, wish list. I think we've talked about bucket lists and wish lists, you and I, before. But is there an item on your list that you are really hoping to find? That evades you?
I got a lot. That has eluded me to this point. Oh wow! How do you pick one?
I know.
I mean, the GW button would be awesome.
Yes. Yeah.
Civil War breastplate would be awesome. Oh, you mean realistic?
You can find those things. I know it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, the Civil War breastplate might be a little difficult. We didn't have a lot of Civil War action in Jersey. But yeah, those are a couple of the things. As far as relics, snake buckle would be really cool.
Yeah.
My buddy Joe Copperhead dug up one of those several months back. Really cool. As far as relics, that's probably my top three. Coin wise, Fujio would be cool.
Yeah.
I live in Jersey and I still don't have a Jersey copper. So I'd like to get that one out of the way just to say I got it out of the way.
Definitely.
I've got Connecticut, I got other states, but I just don't have my own for some reason.
What was your first state copper that you found?
My first state one, Connecticut.
Nice.
Yep. Great. Connecticut was my first. Actually, that was my only state copper. Is Connecticut. Believe it or not, I mean, here where I live, I'm actually, like I said, I live 10 minutes from the beach, 10 or 15 from the bay. but I also live about 25 minutes away from a very historical colonial area. The whole thing is. I mean, I literally live 25 minutes away from where, Washington crossed over and took over Trenton and all that, and that's all by me. So pretty much anything 20 minutes north of me is colonial. So most of what I find is a lot of KGs, a lot of drapes, a lot of Indian heads. Mostly everything's colonial. I don't really find a whole lot Civil War or anything like that. A few three ringers. That's pretty much it. But yeah, that probably would be as far as relics and coins, that'll be probably the top of my list. And once I get a couple of those, I'm sure I'll have about 88 more.
Yeah, and Audra from Jersey History Hunters just said in chat, Revolutionary War sites all over as well.
All over here, everywhere we go.
Man, that's what
even
I
there's a little.
At. Yeah, when I went up there recently, when I saw y'all, in Big Stock, and I'm just amazed at the Rev War stuff there too, the history there. Because it's so different from what we have here in Texas,
Right.
But, so I've got a question for you, Bobby. Now, on your promo photo that we shared, that you were going to be our guest tonight, there seems to be a picture of a gold coin.
No, that's not gold.
It's not? It looked gold to me. I was like, he's got to tell that story. So
no.
Coin?
I believe you put three? Was it 2 or 3 coins on there,
Yep,
Amanda?
I put the seeded, and I put your the Spanish silver.
Okay. So
yeah, that.
It almost, from the coloring, it looked gold, and I was like, did he find a gold coin? Shut up! Shut the front door.
It's funny you say that because you talk about. Funny, about a month ago, I was out. I was on a big date. It was Audra was there. It was one of our permissions. We invited a bunch of people, and so I'm going along, and Audra's right there. My buddy Eric's right there, and I'm like, on my knocks, I'm like, dude, it's 28, 29. So I pull out a plug, and all I saw was big, round, and edge. And I didn't even want to touch it. My buddy Eric comes over, and he flipped it on its side. All you saw was gold. And this thing was huge. And we had to bleep. I'm sure Audra had to bleep that all out because everybody came over, and they're all looking and going, holy bleep, 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 bleep. And I just kind of took off, and I said, I don't even want to look. And I ran the other way. I said, y'all can look at it. It only wound up being a presidential token from, was it 1732 to 1932?
Really?
But, yeah, when you flipped it over and it still had dirt on it, man, it looked, everybody said the same thing. I mean, the whole video is like 9 seconds because they had to bleep the rest out. Audra had to bleep most of that out. It was that bad. That's as close as I've come to a gold coin. But no, that was actually a Mexican half real.
Wow.
Big 1779.
Half real is pretty amazing.
Would have been better if it was a 1.
Right. Well,
hey, you know what? I'll take anything that comes. I'll take anything that comes. I will take anything that comes because that is
exactly.
And that's my oldest silver, so I'll take it.
Definitely.
Not my oldest coin, but my oldest silver. So It's got a little sentimental value.
Definitely. So what was your oldest coin?
My oldest coin is a Charles II farthing, 1670. There's no date on it, but it was 1672 to 1679.
Wow, 1600s. That's fantastic.
I had no clue what it was once I got it cleaned up. I actually had to, you know who actually ID'd that for me? Steph.
Who's that? Oh,
Steph.
yeah.
Yeah, she's like,
Really good at that.
no way. Yeah, she's like, no way. That's a Charles II. I was like, okay, you say so. And I looked it up, and I was like, then I looked it up real quick, and I was like, oh, smack, it is. So yeah, that's my oldest one. That's my oldest, and I have a few William III's, but no dates though. So they could all be in the 1600s or not in the. I have no idea. Those don't usually come out with dates too often.
That's incredible.
I'm just blessed to live in a good colonial area, so those things will pop out. No, I mean not every day, but it's not that unusual. If you're out a decent amount, it's not that unusual to pop out. A lot of early stuff like that.
Right. So let me ask you this, Bobby.
Sure.
And I'm sure you probably got a few funny stories, but what's the strangest thing you've ever found, or possibly some people don't have anything that strange, so maybe the strangest thing that ever happened to you while you're out detecting or out treasure hunting? Any kind of stories like that?
Yeah, I got two, actually. One's kind of funny and one's not. The strangest thing I've ever found was I was out on and Audrey knows where this is, actually right by our house. I was actually out on the bay, and it was like a real hot day in July, in the middle of the day. And of course, on the bay, we'll get there like an hour or two before low tide and walk the tide out. And so as we're walking out, I'm with a friend of mine, and I'm just swinging along, and I'm looking down, and I'm like, no. And he's like, what? I said, surface line. And he's like, silver? I said, no. He comes walking over, happened to be something a woman would have in a drawer in her nightstand, and I wouldn't. Yeah, that's the strangest thing I've ever found. But the scariest, we did have like a little freaky one. I was doing a bay hunt, probably about 25 minutes from my house, and it wasn't unusual for us to be out at like 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. If that just happened to be when we could catch the tide, it is what it is. We would do it. And so I was out with about 3 or 4 people, and we were kind of scattered. And a buddy of mine was probably about 20, 25 feet away, and he's over freaking out. And I'm like, dude, what the hell's wrong with you? And he's like, there's a body. I'm like, what? And I come walking over, and I got a different angle to him, so I get about 10 feet away. Like, dude, it's a mannequin. It was a mannequin, or part of a mannequin.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it was part of a mannequin, probably about, I don't know, maybe 10, 15 yards in the water. But like I said, he was kind of in front of it. I was coming from the side, so I can kind of see better. And you could see it was shiny, kind of like it was plastic. But from where he went, I went over to where he was, and looking at it, it was darker. It didn't have the moonlight hitting it the same way. And I could see where he might have thought that. But yeah, he was, it took us about 20 minutes to get him calmed down.
Understandable.
Oh, that's scary.
Well, I'm glad it turned out to be a mannequin and not a person.
Right.
That's,
Yeah, because I wasn't looking. Yeah, I wasn't looking to be. I wasn't looking to finish my night hunting on a crime scene.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
But it's always one of those things, I know people have asked, but at least myself, I'm sure some, a lot of us, we get out there, we get into the woods, we get into random places that, have you ever found a body? I'm like, no, and I hope it stays that way.
and I tease Nancy. I tease Nancy all the time because I think one time she was in the woods, I think, or doing a cellar hole, and she was digging, and it was a shoe. And I think she was scared there was going to be a foot in it or something like that. Kind of freaked her out a little.
Yeah. Yeah. I've had those scares before as well. Crazy.
Well, that would put a damper on your day, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
For sure. That was.
I probably would have still asked if I could dig. I'm like, while you guys are doing what you're doing, can I go dig still? You done with me now, so I can go dig? Which is funny because I was just watching Scuba Sonia earlier, and how she pulls out occasionally magnet fishing. She'll pull out a gun or something like that. So that's got to be kind of a little freaky too. Wondering if this was used in a crime or something.
Yep.
Yeah, it's scary to think about that. Oh.
And the number of actual guns in the water is pretty crazy. I mean, great place to dispose, but geez Louise.
I mean, you don't think about it. You don't think about it until somebody finds one, and then you're like, well, yeah, I guess I could see that, huh?
Right.
Especially where I live, because I'm not that far from the city, New York City, so.
Yeah. It's scary. I have a friend that works for the sheriff's department, and that's what he does, is he does diving for the sheriff's department. That's what they do, is under body recovery and weapon recovery. And it's terrible. It's scary to hear the number of recovery and stuff that they do. And then you go to treasure hunters that I know that there's probably dozens of us that have happened upon, because I've heard stories myself. Knock on wood, it hasn't happened to me yet. So, but the dreaded thing that we all dread, out digging and then happen upon, I can imagine what went through your head when you saw that mannequin.
Well, I mean, at first at first glance, I couldn't really see much, and when I got a little bit closer to it, maybe another 10 feet, like I said, I had a different angle, so I could tell because it was how shiny it was. But like I said, when I got to where he was standing, I probably would have thought the same thing, because it did look like it. And I was like, man, I said, I'm out here at 3:00 in the morning. That's the last thing I need is a body washing up. Because I probably would not be able to hunt that area for a while.
Yeah. Yep.
Definitely not. Definitely not.
And that was like our spot. That was like our spot to go hit. I mean, that was a spot where if you get there, you go there in a low tide, you're leaving there with 3 or 4 silvers.
Wow.
Almost every time. I would hate to lose a spot like that.
So I've got another question for you, kind of changing subjects here a little.
Sure.
But tell us about maybe your favorite find. It doesn't have to be, the most epic find or anything like that, but your favorite find and maybe why, or maybe it has a special history or something, special story behind it.
Absolutely. My favorite find is actually when I first started detecting. I had my bounty hunter still, and I was on a local beach not too far from my house. And I had gotten a signal. It was probably close to a quarter range on my bounty hunter. And so I dig it up and I see silver and shiny. And I'm like, but there was a hole in the top. And I was just starting out. So I didn't, if you'd have told me there was a such thing as a hold coin, I'd have been like, really? Okay. So I get it out and I had it in my sand scoop and I pulled it out and I'm shining my headlamp on it. And it was, and I didn't know what it was. It's just, I knew what it said, but it said, it had the name of a cemetery and a bunch of numbers on it. So I had no clue what it was. So the next day I called up the cemetery and had told them what I had found. And they said, oh, yes, that's actually in an urn when somebody's cremated. And I guess it's the cemetery name and then the numbers, I guess the numbers in their records would identify who it is. So I said, what am I supposed to do with this? Do I put it back? And so I gave her the information and the numbers and all that. And I got a call, I think 2 days later. Apparently, the family had dumped the ashes on the beach, didn't know it was in there. And I said, just tell the family, I will take it right back there and I will bury it right back where I found it. And she said, no, actually, they didn't know it was in there and the daughter would like it. And I said, really? So I said, yeah. So I said, not a problem. So I drove up. It was only about an hour from my house. So I drove up there and I drove it to the cemetery, to the cemetery. And I actually got to meet the daughter and she didn't know it was there. And she actually wanted to keep it for herself. And it wasn't valuable or worth anything per se, but it was to her. So I'd say that's got to be my coolest find to date. Much cooler than any coin or relic I found.
Right. What a story, man. That
was one of those unintentional recoveries.
Right. Wow.
Sometimes
and some of the recoveries I've done, people message me, those are pretty cool too. I really, anytime you can get somebody messages you and they lost something and you can go and help them recover it. And that's, to me, that's also far greater than anything that I could dig up.
Yeah, I was going
to
say some of those unintentional recoveries are some of the best.
Yeah, it felt a little morbid at first. I thought maybe it was almost like digging up somebody's grave. I felt like, oh my God, what did I just do? But it worked out good.
Worked out perfect. That's amazing. You have another question for him, or?
Yep. So besides metal detecting, do you do any other types of treasure hunting? Like, have you done the magnet fishing or dump digging with Audra?
I have not. I have not done any magnet fishing. Although I keep telling Sonia that I'm going to trade in my knocks for a day and go magnet fishing. I haven't done it yet, but I have not done that yet. I haven't purposely gone out bottle digging. I have found a few by accident that were pretty cool. And I also just got some information from a park ranger close to a place where I dig. And he told me that there is a creek that runs through it, kind of hidden, that there used to be some kind of bottle mill long time ago. And So I told Audra about it because Audra loves bottle digging. Her ears went, huh? What? Bottles? And so our schedules conflict a lot right now because, she's off weekends, I work weekends. But I do believe the next day that we're both off at the same time, we found the creek. We just got to find where it leads to for the bottom mill. But I have a feeling that for the day I'm going to get converted into a bottle digger for that day. We're going to go check it out. So I try to keep my mind open, I mean, I love digging, but then again, anything I can find that's old, if that's some historical value or just, something cool like that, I'm open to it. So we're going to go and hit it.
It's awesome.
Well, good luck with that. Yeah, you can't help it when you're out exploring and out detecting not to occasionally, like you said, you found a few bottles and surface finds and stuff like that. And then you know how it is. You pop a plug and there's a marble there. Or,
yes.
You never know. I've dug arrowheads in the same hole, fossils in the same hole, all kinds of cool stuff. So it opens up new doors for sure.
It does. It's funny you say that too, because I was out, in a farm field not too long ago, and I had never found a marble. I see people post them, and they found marbles and stuff like that, and I just really never thought much of it. And then I just happened to be out on a farm field one day with some buddies, and I look down and I see a little blue thing, and I pick it up, and holy crap, that's a marble. And then the same day, and that's the first marble I ever found. And then the same day, pretty much almost at the same time, I don't know if you're familiar with Dawn and Shelley, Can You Dig It? They were out digging and found their first marble same day. And I was like, I really never thought much of it, but that's actually kind of cool. And so now I actually, when I go out, I look down and I kind of look. I don't pay much attention to my detector. I just go by my tones. I don't look at the VDI much or anything. And I just kind of wander. My eyes wander. I'm looking for. So now I'm looking for a marble or an arrowhead, something I can't detect. And it's kind of cool finding that stuff. I never really thought much of it. And then you find one, and you're like, oh, okay, yeah, now I want to find more.
Right. Yeah, before too long,
Same way.
Start collecting.
Yep.
Collecting everything.
Yep. So that's how the bottle thing started.
Right. I bet. Well, that's what happens too once you finally do dig a dump, or go mudlarking, or go to a beach, and you start. It's just like someone that goes hunting for shells on the beach, and then before long they're combing the beach and they're finding other really cool stuff, like sea glass and other stuff. And it's the same thing when you start dump digging. Oh, I found a bottle stopper, and I found coins in the dump, and I found this really cool thing. It surprises you. It's just like metal detecting. You never know what will pop up. So
exactly.
It's so much fun.
And the funny thing is, my first bottle that I ever found, I actually found on the bay by accident. And I never, like I said, I never really thought much about bottles or anything like that, but it just looked really cool. And then I brought it home, and it wound up being like a really old perfume bottle. And I just kind of sat there and said to myself, I wonder, you think about it now and in the now, and then you think about maybe 100 years ago, you sit there and think, I wonder who was this? Just like when you find anything else, you try to figure out, or you think about the who, the what, the why, and it actually, in a sense, it kind of brought the bottle to life a little bit, because I was trying to figure out maybe in my head where this came from, why it was there.
Right. So, Bobby, you mentioned earlier, doing a little research and stuff. Is there any certain thing that you like doing, or a certain way you like to go about researching some of your sites, or to try to find future sites, anything like that?
I do, actually. I sometimes what I'll do is, in my travels, I'm not one to, drive past a place and go, oh, that looks cool. Let me get out and dig. If I find a place that I think might be old, and I'll look, for old barns. I'll look for, old buildings that are maybe have brick foundations or old stone foundations. And I have an app on my phone where I can, it's kind of like in a sense, like a geolocator, and I'll pin it on there, and then I'll go home and I'll research. I have a really good, there's a pretty good university here, Rutgers, that has, you can go online and actually pull up old maps. They don't have, it's not, like a unlimited, but because of the fact of the location of the university, I get a pretty good idea of the area. And once I can pull up a map of the area, an old map, I'll use historical aerials a lot. I can check to see if the land has been developed or how much development's been there, how much man's got his hands on it. Just any information whatsoever I can get on it. Public records, you can go to a library and pull up old maps. And one of my favorites, I ask, you get some of these old timers that were born and raised in an area, they know. They know what things are, where things are. And sometimes, I'll go on that too. You get somebody that's been around for, 70, 75 years, they know when they were a kid, oh, well, yeah, that used to be this, and over there, that used to be that. And then the wheels start going in my head. And I'm getting firsthand information here. I'm not reading this.
Right. Yeah, there's nothing like getting that firsthand information, and it's that internal detector too that goes off, when you hear someone talking about old times and where this property used to be and this building used to be, and it's like,
yep.
Oh, where's that?
Yeah, no, exactly. And you start talking to these old timers, they'll keep going. They'll just talk and talk and talk and talk. And, the more information I get, the better it is for me. It's the easier it is for me. It helps do my research. And sometimes I do the research beforehand, and then getting that firsthand information just validates what I researched. So
right.
that's good. That's good in that sense as well.
True. Well, Bobby, we've got a question for you in chat. Amanda, you want to read that, or you want me to read it?
No, my chat's down.
It's from Tim, I think, right?
Yeah, Tim. Can you see that, Bobby?
Is there anything that Bobby never leaves home without when going detecting? Special equipment other than his detector? Oh yeah. Keepy for the bunghole. You can't go without toilet paper, man. You gotta have toilet paper somewhere.
Right.
I've seen things. I've seen horror stories. I've seen people run towards woods. No, that's one thing you can't leave home without. Especially being in the middle of a farm field. There's no porta potties.
Yeah.
There's no nothing.
Right. I bring toilet paper and wipes or wet wipes. Got to have them in the backpack. Got to have them somewhere close. You just never know.
That's it. Yeah. Hey, desperate times call for desperate measures, man. You got it. You can't be without it.
So true. True. Well, I know, Amanda, we got a couple more questions that we usually like to ask people before we sign off for the evening.
Okay.
But one is, I know you mentioned earlier you have a group that you've got on social media. What's the name of that group?
The name of the group is East Coast Metal Detecting. It's on Facebook.
Okay. Awesome.
We just started that February 1st.
Awesome. So do you have any other ways that people can find you? I know you've got several probably. You want to tell us about that?
Let's see. You can find me on Facebook under East Coast Metal Detecting. I also, after caving in after a year and a half of peer pressure, I started a TikTok account a few months ago, which you can. There's some weird people in there. I'm telling you now. I mean, it's actually been pretty cool. It's been. I tell you, it's been pretty cool. I post some of my videos on there, pictures. It's worked out pretty well. I just went over 1,000 followers the other day. But I learned that there's just people on there who will do anything for attention. It's man.
It is. TikTok is it's got a lot of that on it, but I will say it's really a cool app. I'm really enjoying it. I didn't think, at first I thought it was just for the young teenagers. But, it's growing for metal detecting. It's growing for a lot of other great things. And it's a great way to do some little shorts. It
is. And I just recently learned that you can kind of centralize a little bit who you trying to, like, when you put out something. I didn't know this because I'm technologically challenged, but somebody had told me if you put hashtag and then whatever you're doing, that it'll kind of like centralize and go out towards that kind of group of people. And I was amazed at the number of people that are on TikTok now that are actually that metal detect or some kind of treasure hunting in some way, whether it be penny, gold, or coin collectors, metal detectorists, bottle diggers, magnet fishers. It's growing. I could just in the short time I've been on it, I can see a difference.
Right. It's really growing. Amanda had a video go viral on TikTok not too long ago when she dug up one of her oldest coins, and man, it's amazing. I mean, viral. It was crazy.
It's funny because you don't know what it is that people is gonna draw people, because I posted a KG2 and it had a date and everything, like 1731, and I was like, this is gonna be cool, and then it was all right, and then I posted like a minute video of it was a silver ring I pulled up, and it just like took off. I'm like, what the hell? This ring's probably 60 years old. This coin's 290 years old, and the ring got more attention. I'm like, wow, go figure.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Go figure.
I remember Amanda posted when we were out mudlarking, when we were up in New York. She posted this little short TikTok of, it was a little doll she found, and it was missing. What was it missing? The leg?
No,
it was just the leg.
It was missing the head.
It was missing the head, and it went boom and exploded in viral. I was like, dang, man, you just never know what's gonna go
I know, right?
on there. It's funny.
I got a question for you two. I'm flipping the script on you. I got a question for you two. My wife pointed out that, and I didn't really pay much attention to it till recently, and it's true. I can't go to a store. I can't go anywhere. If I get out of my car to go to Target or wherever, ShopRite, which is our supermarket here, and tell me if you guys are the same way. It's gotten to the point now to where I can't go anywhere. I can't walk to my car to the front door without my head being down. I'm constantly looking. Constantly. And then, my wife, my friend Eric, all the time, they're like, dude, because I find rings, I find gold, I find a Cartier ring in a parking lot. My head is always down no matter where I go. It's like, I can't help it. I can't help it. I cannot help it. If I get hit by a car crossing over, I get hit by a car crossing over, whatever. Do you guys find yourself doing that?
All the time.
Yes.
Okay, good. It's not just me.
No. Definitely not just you.
For a lot, right. And for a lot of us, it starts with metal detecting, and then, it just broadens. But for me, that's actually more the way I started. I started as a young age. I had a great uncle that's what he did. He would wake up every morning at the crack of dawn as soon as the sun was coming up, and it was a little town in West Texas, and he would get up and he would walk all over through the town, through parking lot, school parking lot, park, car wash, etc. And he would come back with a handful of coins, sometimes jewelry, you name it, all kinds of goodies. And I remember going, wow, and I remember going, oh, well, I want to do that. And so I would go walking with them when I would go visit them, in West Texas. And it amazes me. It was a different kind of treasure hunt. And it stuck with me all my life for sure.
And you want to know the funny thing? If I would have seen somebody doing that as much as I do it before I started metal detecting,
right.
I would have probably like, dude, you need an intervention, man. Really, you need an intervention or something, because you know what? But now that this far into it, and I'm like, okay, I get it now. I get it, because it's a problem. Yeah, there's no 12 steps or anything like that that's going to help with that.
It's not a problem, really. It's just another form of treasure hunting.
It is. And it's funny, too, because I'll take a picture. Like, I'll find, like, broken gold on the ground or whatever, and I'll send a picture to my buddy Eric, and he'll be like, dude, where are you finding stuff? I said, I got out of my car to go to work. I said, I got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people a day that are in this parking lot. Somebody's going to drop something every now and then, but it's like once a week I'll find like an earring or a ring or a piece of broken gold, and I'll send him a picture, and he's like, dude. I'm like, what? I said, I'm going to just put it in I can't help it. I'm always looking down, and I'm just going to throw it all in a box. And then one day, when I had enough in there and whatever, I said, I'm going to go and I'm going to go cash it all in. And then I'm going to make them write me a check. I don't want cash. Make them write me a check. Then I'm going to take a picture and send it to you. And then I go, dude, what? I said, I'll take a trip. Maybe I'll buy another metal detector. Who knows? It'll all add up someday.
It really will. It really will. I remember my great uncle, he had like buckets. As he would walk in the door, he had these buckets full, like Folgers cans that he would drop a lot of his stuff, and then later he would just cash it in. So it's amazing what you can do.
That's a positive problem to have.
Right. We've got, I think, one more question for you before we close it. A little
fire away.
Go ahead.
So, if you could have the superpowers of any superhero while being out detecting, who would you be and why? Or what superpower would you want and why?
Hmm. Superpower.
Hmm.
Huh. Um, this is going to sound a little corny.
We like corny.
Yep.
My daughter. My daughter.
You'd
Oh,
want.
My daughter, she's not young. She's 29, but my daughter she's one of those people that if you tell her she can't, she'll find 3 ways to do it to prove she can. And it's just discipline and determination. And I think when metal detecting, those are two things. Discipline you got to have for certain things. Discipline you need to, not take things for granted, dig every target. And sometimes people don't have that discipline. They cherry pick a lot, or they don't dig big tones because, it's not silver. That's the discipline part. And the determination part is sometimes, you're going to go out and hunt. You're going to get nothing. And you go out 2 days later, you're going to get nothing. You might have 6 hunts like that. But eventually,
right.
you're going to hit one. You're going to hit one thing. It doesn't matter how many days you went out and didn't hit. It always comes full circle. You hit one thing, one relic, one button, and that erases everything that happened the weeks before, the 6 months before. And that's the determination part, because I do see, especially in my group, new people coming in, they get frustrated very early. And because if they don't find something epic right away, it's not hard to get frustrated. And she's probably the one person that I know that's so fierce with that. She's so determined in everything she does. She's disciplined in everything she does. So, yeah, I got to say that's my superhero. So I'll take those 2 powers from her.
Fantastic.
I love it. You got to have, perseverance and all of that to keep it going. For sure. That's wonderful. Thank you, Bobby. Well, that's all we have time for tonight, and we appreciate you, Bobby, for being on here, and thanks for putting up with our crazy questions.
Oh, that was nothing. You kidding me? That was easy. That was easy. I told Amanda before everything started, I said, you can ask me whatever you want. I don't care. I'm open book. But I appreciate it. I thank you guys so much for inviting me to come on here. And before I go, I just want to give a shout out to my co-host, Audra, for the job she did last week. And I wanted to thank both of you for coming on. And it was so huge for Squeak and for Emily. And I just want to say thank you. And I want to give her, Audra, a shout out, because we had literally maybe 10, 12 people pop on, and that woman ran that thing flawlessly. I mean, flawlessly. It was perfect, and couldn't ask for a better host. And again, thank both of you and everybody else that showed up for being so generous with your time.
Well, thank you for having us on. It was an honor, and Squeak and Emily. Thank you. I know Emily's in chat tonight, and thank you. I got my prize that I was totally unexpected. I don't win and I don't enter, and so I promise that was not rigged. So thank you, Emily. Thank you, Bobby and Audra. I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Which one did you win?
I got a backpack, a Garrett backpack,
Woo!
some rockin' stickers from Little Dirt Digger Emily, and I got some of her finds, like a Civil War bullet, a marble. I got, what else? A finds box on top of that to put it in. and a card that was amazing, and a little bandana, a pink bandana. And you know I'm going to be rocking that pink bandana. What I'll probably end up using it for, though, which is sad because I'll get it dirty, but I can always wash it. You know, when I dig a plug and I want a neat plug in a yard, just pop that plug over on that and then pop it right back, puts all the dirt right back into the plug. So that's what I'll be using that for. Thank you, Emily.
Amanda, where did we go wrong?
No idea.
Where did we go wrong? Where did we go wrong here?
Yes, no idea.
Well,
But-
thank you.
I didn't even get Skittles. I would have been happy with Skittles or something. I don't know. Where did we go wrong?
Well, thank you all for listening, y'all. Y'all have a great night.
Good night, all.
You too, guys. Good night, everybody.